Hello, everybody. It's George from Ireland. You don't often see these specs, so come on. I might as well get value for them as I paid so much. I hope you got the beginning of that. So it's George from Ireland. I'm sporting my specs, which I seldom do. Anyway, I had fan mail requests from my many adoring followers, and someone from Brazil, no less, requested to do more videos on how to speak in a posh British accent. So I'm from the Republic of Ireland, where precious few people sound the way I do, but possibly speak this way because I spent my formative years overseas. You can maybe guess which country it's in. No, not China, not Nigeria, okay, not Poland, but you're getting warmer. Okay, I'll let you figure out the rest. Anyway, so this accent is sometimes called a public school accent. Received pronunciation, as in RP, received in the sense of like be seen as being correct or standard on the same basis as received wisdom and so forth. So it emerged maybe in the late 19th century. Some of these upper class prime ministers, even in Oxford, like William Ewart Gladstone, had a mild Merseyside accent because, as they used to say, Oxford on top but Liverpool underneath. The way people spoke in court and so on. It was really with the establishment of BBC Radio in 1922 that it spread. People said to speak with a cut glass accent. And so on. There are numerous ways to say it. People say it's a fruity accent, Oxford English, but of course, people who live in the city of Oxford often sound more Cockney. The senior generation sound faintly West Country. So those who went to Oxford University, yes, most of them had the sort of accent. By the time I was there in the 90s, some did and some decidedly did not. They'd have whatever the regional accent was. They could be from other parts of the world. So here I am, I suppose, speaking in standard British English, not a super posh accent, but how would you want to posh it up? So one of the things that they say, well, it's non-rhotic, for instance. Don't pronounce the letter R unless it's word initial. Even the name of the letter R, as in the one that comes after Q before S, it sounds like it's the dentist telling you to say R. So R. Really pronounce the R properly. So you can say like red because that's the first letter of the word red. You can pronounce the red there. But if it's let's say I'm just thinking of an example where we have to pronounce R. For example, par, like in golf, P-A-R, par, like that. Or even in my name, it's often cited the example George. Sounds like it's spelled with a W in the middle rather than George, which might be an American pronunciation. What else? Things that they say that the long vowels skipping certain syllables, but I think that's more general Britannic. For instance, literature rather than literature. Americans would pronounce that E in the middle. Are there any other notable features of it? Well, there's certain words. Jolly is an intensifier. I think that one went out a generation ago, or things like amidst. These Germanic optional STs on the end of the word is almost as bad as saying canst nowadays. What else? Just trying to think. I can read something which I'd read. Okay, I'll read it in my standard accent, but I'm going to have to do this again, super posh. The georgefromireland.com website will showcase YouTube videos, podcasts, and quality articles from Callah's blog, which are less than 2 years old. Items older than 2 years will be marked private and will no longer be visible. So that was standard British English. I'll give you the same thing, and I'm going to tune up the plum factor. So check this out. The George from Ireland website will showcase YouTube videos, podcasts, and quality articles from Callah's blog, which are less than 2 years old. Items older than 2 years will be marked as private and will no longer be visible. So you might need to know that the word years is very notable, or eld. The pronunciation of eld, keld, kel, like that. That's rather distinctive. The old days, an A often sounded like an E, like hands as hands. Things ending in Y, like family as family. But that I'm not sure that anyone spoke that way. Her Britannic Majesty enunciated that way in her first BBC television Christmas broadcast in 1958. And obviously she's gone the way of all flesh. So that's seen as advanced RP, and really there's just theatrical these days. So I think that one has disappeared because, of course, there's linguistic change. There's a downshifting. It's not that different from standard British English. What else should I point out about it? I mean, there was the old famous Miss Mitford's U and non-U list from about 1955 as an upper class and non-upper class, but people are a bit less attentive to that, having to say lavatory or loo or something like that, even bathroom. But saying toilet, that was really in for a dig. You'd see faces around you fall. You couldn't say that one. That was deeply embarrassing. Having to say drawing room rather than living room. And worst of all would be lounge. So these are social markers, the ones you say there. Goodness, I should imagine that was a feature. People say I like, or rather than I think or I assume, I should imagine. And I thought it was always a misuse of should in this case. Or like people saying I should jolly well hope so. I haven't heard that one for a long time. I think frightful as an intensifier, not been used since the 90s. I remember a scion of the Earl of Scarborough saying that, people being derided as frightful lebbage. So working class people, posh people call them plebs, being contumelious, but people say that's like class racialism, or lebbage, short for that. But that's seen as very bigoted these days. Even things like oiks have gone out the window. And one thing is, posh people are definitely not averse to swearing. What else? Is there anything else people would say? So that's it. Just you might have noticed the vowels were a little bit different. I'm not sure the consonants have shifted at all. Oh yes, another thing, the letter T. Really hammer the letter T. What? Because in some of the despised proletarian urban accents, it's skipped out. Like, well, there's the glottal stop. That would be an example. The glottal stop in Cockney. Famously, water bottle would be water bottle in Cockney. Things like that. Or yes, put a bit of British butter on a bit of British bread will be put a bit of British butter on a bit of British bread, like that. So how different it is. Anyway, I'm going to give you my customary sign off these days. The publicly available George from Ireland podcast will consist of audio versions of YouTube videos from George from Ireland Reflections, which are less than 2 years old. Items older than 2 years will be removed from the public feed. The George from Ireland Patreon page shall include quality articles from Callum's blog, a subscriber-only podcast consisting of audio versions of the YouTube videos from George from Ireland Reflections, English Law, and George from Ireland, the Poesy channel, which are of any age and are not usually cross-posted on any other channel. Right. Thank you so much for your kind attention. So make sure you subscribe on Patreon and donate with the greatest possible liberality to me on PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. So no donation is too big. Okay. So just have a word with the bank manager, take out a loan, and then send me the money. All right. Goodbye then.